Hey everybody, it's me, Teri Hunter. Welcome back. Today is November 15th, 2018. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with me, my name is Teri Hunter. I'm an angel therapy practitioner. And if you want to learn more about me, and my website is www.terihunter.com. That's TERIHUNTER.com. So before I start with the readings by astrological sign, your angel readings, I just wanted to talk about a few things that are going on astrologically this week. You know, last week I had mentioned that Jupiter went into its natural sign of Sagittarius. And unfortunately, because of some events here, we didn't talk too much about that. I wanted to let you know what that means. Jupiter is going to be in Sagittarius, its natural sign, for the next till 2019. Jupiter is known as a benevolent planet, bringing good lucks. I wanted to give you some key words. It's expansion, vision, optimism, idealism, religion, higher thinking, your belief system, foreign places, foreign travel, higher education, abundance, and expansion in all ways. You know, that's all positive. It also can be a little bit of a double-edged sword, because you need to be mindful, especially Sagittarius in Sagittarius, because expansion can also be the expansion of your body and of other things. The negative sides: overconfidence, extravagance, showiness, being a little boastful, overly confident, overly idealistic, missing some of the fine details, because Jupiter is all about the higher vision, the broader vision. Sometimes it can miss the details. But overall, it's a very, very warm, fuzzy, loving energy. I think we're going to see, hopefully over this next year, people just sort of adopting a kinder, more benevolent way of being. So that's kind of fun. I also wanted to tell you guys about Venus is going direct tomorrow. And Venus is the planet of love, the planet of beauty. It's the planet of money. Venus rules the things that we value. And for the last 40 days, she's been invisible. And by that, I mean she's been in such close contact with the sun that the sun has been obliterating her light. So that's been really challenging. And it's been in Scorpio, retrograding back into Libra, its natural sign. Just not feeling good being invisible. So you can see a lot of misunderstandings, a lot of turbulence, a lot of people who may have coupled up and there was a bit of an illusion. Things weren't quite as clear as they might have would be with her visible. So she's going to be going visible starting tomorrow. That's going to bring in a whole bunch of positive energy. It also coincides with Mars moving into Pisces. Now, Pisces is a warm, fuzzy kind of, I mean, not warm, it's represented by the fish, but it's a very sensitive, loving sign, very intuitive sign. Now the planet of war is going to go into that sign. Depending upon what house it is in your chart will make a difference. But overall, it's going to be, Mars is going to be, from my point of view, not so fiery. The water is going to be dousing the fire a little bit. So this isn't necessarily a bad thing. You know, Mars represents innovation. It represents pioneering spirit. And I think this is going to just sort of soften Mars's energy till the end of the year. And the other big thing that we got going on is a Mercury retrograde starting on Saturday here in the States. That's on the 17th of November. Mercury goes retrograde like 3 times a year. Lucky 2018. This is the 4th time. So, you know, travel can get choppy. Be mindful of, you know, crossing your T's, dotting your I's, really checking how you're filtering communications. It's also about planning I'm losing my words. It's planning, organizing, not necessarily strategizing. It's more about like taking care of daily tasks. So just be mindful of your computers, mindful of just being careful to Be aware, pick up your laptop, make sure you've got your phone with you, you know, just those little things. Double check your tickets, double check your baggage, those just little bit kind of things. Okay, so that's what I want to do, just a little bit of planetary weather forecast there for this next week or so. Actually, these planets are, these are all going to last. I mean, Mars moves into Pisces for 2 months. Venus going direct. That's awesome, ushering in a whole new year of energy for her. And then Mercury will be in retrograde for 3 weeks. Everything has a shadow period on both sides, which means that there's the ramping up or the unraveling of the retrograde. I don't even know if my words, I feel like even Mercury's affecting my words right now. I feel like I can't talk very well. All right, let's start with the readings. Here we go, Aries. What is up for you this week? Okay. First angel is Layla. The second is Francesca. The third is Archangel Uriel. And the final is Yvonne. Okay. So Layla is my walking meditation. She's always asking me to get out in nature and to allow spirit to give me an opportunity to commune with me, to show me, give me messages through the elements of nature. And those are looking at the characteristics of what's caught my eye or what I see 3 times or more. The other day I was walking through my living room and I have the blinds shut because of the afternoon sun and they were half shut. And I saw this like flapping thing go by really quick. And I looked out and it was a hawk literally sitting on the telephone wire, 2 feet from my screen door. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. Hawk is always about rising above my fear, looking at a broader picture of things, not taking things at face value just yet, but trying to give myself an opportunity to see things from a broader perspective. So that's what I think Layla is asking you to do or offering you in the foundational position. If indeed you've been, with this Venus retrograde, if you've been trying to move your story forward, let's say in partnerships and business, and things have been a little slow, or maybe you felt like you've been knocking on the door and you're getting a yes, but there's no movement. It's really not a time to get too concerned because actually setting that partnership during a Venus retrograde could be challenging. Now we got our Mercury retrograde. And I know it always seems like there's something because there is always something, but that doesn't necessarily mean that these things are not moving forward. This is kind of a timing issue because here's Francesca, Aries, saying, what do you visualize right now? Negativity will block your progress. Now, I'm not a big fan of the words negativity and positivity because to me, they're polar opposites and they both create resistance. I don't want to be negative because that's not good. I should be positive, but being positive is the resistance of negativity. So somewhere you got to land in the middle of kind of hop, skipping, and jumping over whatever is frustrating you right now, as evidenced by Archangel Uriel, because that's in the angel's advice. If your frustration is eclipsing your ability to visualize what you want to manifest, you're going to be kind of pushing a rock uphill, rowing your boat in sand, because now is a time to be vulnerable to the bigger picture of things, even though you may not see the road so clearly. And, I got to say that this has been kind of the theme. I'm an Aries rising, and this has been the theme for me this summer. And yet during the process of all this stuttered activity, there is a deep knowing that things are lining up, and they're lining up in a way that I probably can't imagine, more beautifully, more succinctly, more harmoniously. So I really want to offer that to my Aries this week. If you're feeling at all frustrated, the holidays are upon us. Here in the United States, next week is going to be Thanksgiving. And I really hope that you'll just settle in and give yourselves a little bit of, faith in a bigger picture of things in case there's just been no movement. Or if you find that whatever movement has been happening is not to your liking. Okay? Venus is still in her shadow period. So that's, even though she's gone visible and energies are going to get better. All right, let's go on to Taurus. What is up for Taurus this week? And so this is great. Venus going visible. Taurus is ruled by Venus. So she's going to feel Taurus should feel much more your energy back in a flow, like she's back in the saddle a little bit. Okay. Oops. Well, let's see what that is. Okay, so that's our first angel is Omega. Whenever a card flies out of the deck, it's always indicative of, pay attention to me. The second is Maya. The third angel is Patience. And the final is Archangel Uriel. Okay, so here we go. Omega, being the card of victory, is not necessarily that you're sitting in a place of victory in this very moment, as much as your desire, you've been working towards a goal. Victory, your desire is coming to fruition. Keep up the good work. I really want to say this for Taurus, because having Venus be retrograde can really mess with our feelings and our partnerships, not just our partnerships with our intimate partners and our business partners, but our partnerships with ourselves. Venus rules self-worth, our beauty, how we feel about ourselves. So I really feel like this summer and this period of time, because Mars was retrograde, Saturn was retrograde. We still got some outer planets retrograde for a while. Maya's in the opportunity, the obstacle, and Patience is the angel's advice. And that's really about learning about your energetic body and about how you're standing. What are you really believing about yourself? Taurus has a tendency to get, once they know something or they get into a certain rhythm or a belief about something, they can stick to it, kind of dig their heels in the ground. And sometimes it doesn't always serve them not to be a little bit flexible. So the things that you want are coming, but they may not come in exactly the form that you think they're going to come in or the avenue that they're going to come in. And that's something for you to learn, because I have Archangel Uriel in the final position here. So I feel like Taurus has been frustrated. Taurus has been like, let's get on with it. Let's move to the good stuff and get past all this nonsense. And your job right now is to remember that there's a reason for the nonsense, because the good stuff can't come in until the nonsense goes out. So giving yourself a little bit of a break. And I also want to, Archangel Uriel also talks about anger and unforgiveness, resentment, just hanging in there. I'm right, you're wrong. There are times when, maybe people are technically wrong, but emotions are muddy. And emotions, it's hard to do the right thing when your heart is saying one thing and your head is saying another. So being compassionate for yourself and as best as you can for others will be really serving you to bring you to that place of victory that you're looking for, to be sitting back in that place of feeling more flow and rhythm in your life. Because I feel like Taurus has sort of been, and Uranus is going to move back into your sign soon. So there's going to be a lot more transformation of self during that period. So allow for whatever is transforming to do that, and allow whatever is meant to awaken you to a new dynamic within yourself to flourish. And try not to stick yourself in that place of being angry. It's not going to serve you in any long term. And if you really are that angry, go take a kickboxing class, channel that anger into something constructive. Okay, let's go into Gemini. What is up with Gemini this week? Your ruling sign, Mercury, is going retrograde. And, I want to say this because, retrogrades get a bad rap for being, just like messing with our minds. But, they really do offer review, reevaluation, rest, all the RE words. So in Mercury's case, it would be reviewing my communications, reviewing my projects and plans, my organization, my travel, things like that. Okay, let's go, Gemini. What's up for you? It's even reviewing my relationships. If you think about the Mercury and Venus going direct as Mercury is going backwards, they're not near each other in the chart, but they feel almost like they're like, let's revisit this idea of what love is, what love feels like for me, and what do I bring to love? Because, sometimes we get an idea of something, of how it's going to be and how love should be. And, we're working with two people, sometimes, if you're on Sister Wives, you're working with 5 people. Joke, haha. But my point is that people's emotional concepts of themselves, they ebb and they flow with their own ability to believe in themselves and in certain dynamics in life. So as you're going through this Mercury retrograde, Venus moving forward within your relationships, your partnerships in business, your partnerships in your intimate life, and with yourself, being able to have a sense of putting yourself in the other person's shoes, just for a minute, might help ease if there's been tensions, and build a bridge. I don't know why I wanted to say that, but that's where I'm going to go with this. And let's see what the angels have to say. Okay. Angel number 1 is Aurora. Number 2 is Mystique. Third position is Maya, and finally Shanti. Okay, so Aurora talks about you're flying high right now, which may threaten others. It's not really a threat. It's when you're doing something that other people don't understand. And so in doing so, continue to hold the line for what you want while having compassion for others, because here is Mystique saying, charge ahead, keep up the good work, expect miraculous solutions. I really believe that miracles are alignment to source energy. That is where my dual thought is dominantly and predominantly in where I want to be, what I want to experience, versus the fear or the road to get there, which is typically Gemini, back and forth. Let me look at both sides, You'll drive yourself nuts. Because Maya is saying you're learning something about, right now. This is about schooling and education. And yes, there's always the chance that it's about traditional education, depending upon my viewer and how old they are. But it's really, for me, predominantly about my energy, and where is my energy and where is it focused? Because here is Shanti. Shanti is saying a new era of peace is coming in. So Aurora is saying that there may be disruption right now that people don't understand. And I don't know that it's your job to explain to them exactly what you're doing, but allowing them to experience your faith in yourself, your tenacity to move forward, and in some ways taking no prisoners to bring in that era of peace. People don't really learn by words. They learn through experience. Words can be the impetus for an experience, but yeah, they hang out too much over here. So when we put them in the physical body, it anchors it in. All right, let's go on to Cancer. What does Spirit have to say for Cancer this week? Well, Azure is our first angel. The second is Isaiah. The third is Rosetta. And, there's Shanti again. Well, Cancer, interestingly enough, this really does feel like it might have something to do with your children or with people that are younger than you. I have Azure saying your desired outcome will happen in the near future. Have patience and faith, and don't try to force it to happen. Force is a resistant energy. I mean, yes, we want to put an intention into something. We want to put some elbow grease into it. But when we're really forcing ourselves, that dual thought gets messed up, and it becomes more arduous. It becomes more muddied. It becomes more like walking through sludge. So really being able to focus in on whatever the solution is, whatever the ultimate outcome is, being able to feel that till you get the goosies. That's where you want to go, because Isaiah is asking you to give birth to new ideas. And I think Rosetta talks about children, parenting, about doing work involving children. And in the angel's advice, I do think it's about a childlike innocence many times in giving birth to new ideas. But for some reason today, I'm getting a very strong pull that this may have to do with home and hearth for Cancer. It may have more to do with how you're feeling about your immediate environment and those that live in there with you. Because I have Shanti, again, the angel of peace, bringing in a new era of calm. But before the era of calm can come in, you've got to get rid of whatever's disrupting it. So for my Cancers, I want to say, I feel like allowing yourself to focus in on what's working. There may be a whole heck of a lot that's not working, or things that just feel really out of sorts for you. But if you can step into what's working and just let that be, the first hook into the shift, and then notice the next thing that's working and start to build in momentum. I think that's really what Isaiah is asking for. And if you're having issues with your children in some way, I think that Cancer is ruled by the moon, the ultimate mother, allowing your children to feel that nurturing quality versus the disciplinarian, maybe. Maybe we need to have more of an ear for our children. I don't know why I'm saying it, but I just give it like I get it. All right, let's go on to Leo. I'm going to take a sip of my tea. All right, Leo. What is up for you this week? All righty. Our first angel is Mystique. The second is Caressa. The third is Crystal. And the final is Chantal. Oh, Leo. How fun. So Mystique is my unicorn angel. She says, keep charging ahead. Expect miraculous solutions. I always think of Gloria Estefan when she got in her bus accident and she wrote coming out of the dark and into the light, because it feels like Leos are really looking for a new era of love in their lives. And I kind of feel like it's intimate love and Venus going direct. If your relationships have been choppy, if you have been feeling invisible, Leo is ruled by the sun. And with the sun kind of obliterating Venus's energy over the last 40 days, you may have been feeling kind of like you weren't around in your own life, like people were just sort of kind of passing you by. I think that's shifting because I've got Caressa saying you're at the end of a life cycle, that new happiness awaits you. Now, every day we go through a cycle. It's not like it has to be some huge chapter where, big craziness. But if for some reason this last summer and all these retrogrades shifted your relationships, shifted and in a way that felt challenging, lifting the rug, looking at things and saying, well, this has been going on for too long. Because what I'm seeing here is Crystal is in the angel's advice saying, have faith and hope. There's new things on the horizon that you can't see. And then in the final position is Chantal. Chantal is the romance angel. She talks about a new romance or the resurgence of a current relationship. Well, that's what Venus has been doing. We've been reevaluating our relationships. Where are the holes? And being in Scorpio and Libra, it was intense. It's like, we're either going to make this work or we're just going to get out, because I don't want anything superficial. So Leo, I think this is really kind of cool for you, because to me, it's sort of like, I feel like Leo also likes to be, intense in love relationship on a playful side, but, they like to be connected to their partners and they want to know that their partner is, there with them and thinks the best of them. And here it feels like this is where that opportunity is coming up. But I also want to offer my Leos to give what you want to receive. So as you go and allow Venus's visibility to soften those edges that may have been a little jagged this last summer, and you kind of love on your partner maybe a little bit more, or even if it's not necessarily an intimate partner, but your other relationships, being more mindful to listen to your business partner when they're communicating, or whatever the relationship may be, because I really feel like there's an opportunity for not only love within the relationship, but also feeling a new sense of love for yourself because you've fostered this by showing up this way. Okay, well, that sounds kind of fun, Leo. You have to let me know how the week goes. And actually, when I say these things, it's not just a 7-day cycle, because everything it's like planting a seed, you don't plant the seed in the ground and then the flower just shows up. It takes a while to nurture and, to sprout and all that good stuff. All right, let's go on to Virgo. What is up with Virgo this week? Okay. Oh, our first angel is Chantal. The second is Patience. The third is Omega. And the final is Merlina. All right, my Virgos. So Chantal is the romance angel. She talks about the resurgence, I just said this for Leo, of a existing relationship or a new relationship coming in. Now, this to me feels like, when I look at it, Virgo, this feels like it's talking about potentially, a lot of people just swim through the earth and have no idea Venus is in retrograde, and they meet somebody new and, la-di-da, let's go, let's make it happen. And, you have no idea the stars are messing with you, because I think the stars have been messing with you, Virgo. I have the patience card in the opportunity or the obstacle. It's really about gathering information. It's about watching how you are showing up and how they're showing up. How am I walking into this potential love situation? Am I adopting the position and the role that I want to have in the relationship? For me, as a woman, I like to receive. Yes, I tend to sometimes initiate things with intimate partners, trying to wiggle them to do what I want them to do. But, overall, I think in a healthy relationship, a man pursues a woman, and a woman is strong enough within herself to allow for that pursuit. So there's something about that going on with you, Virgos, okay? Because that's what the patience card is representing. It's like allowing this Venus retrograde, Venus moving forward to and Mercury's retrograde. So that's your ruling sign. So allowing yourself to review how you show up in relationships. How do you communicate? How do you walk through them? Because Omega is offering victory in relationships, but I still think things are a little choppy for you, because I think that you may have started relationships or are endeavoring relationships from a perspective of wanting the relationship rather than viewing the quality of the relationship or the quality of the person, or how they're, you got to get out of the dream state a little bit. And I know Virgo is a very practical sign, but nobody's practical in love. Nobody's practical when they start to see someone that they like. They get their little rose-colored goggles on, and it just, can. So I think Spirit is really asking you guys this week to just sit back, observe, enjoy. For my women, receive attention from the person who I don't know. Now I don't even want to use genders. I don't know what to do here. Okay. So if you assume a traditionally female role in a relationship, then allow yourself to receive from your partner. And if you are traditionally more the male active person in the relationship, then pursue the object of your desire. Let that person know your affection for them. Let them receive you. And I think that will really illuminate a lot about your love life and where this relationship is going. Okay, let's go on to Libra. Okay, Libra. You must be so happy. Venus is back in your sign. She just loves being in Libra, and Taurus as well. So we are going to definitely see a softening, and all our Libras should be feeling just a little bit better. I know I have. It's weird because, before I started studying astrology, I didn't realize that there's literally can be a planetary shift and it'll shift my mood. I don't know. Here I go in a weird way. When Jupiter moved into Sagittarius, it made a harsh aspect to the planet Uranus. And that was when the fires started up in California. And Uranus is unexpected. Jupiter is expansion. Mars is fire and action. So is Sagittarius. And so it's really crazy when you looked at the astrological dynamics of what the potentials were for that. So anyway, I digress a little bit. I'm learning. I'm no expert. I'm just pretty much reiterating my studies. Okay, Libra, let's go on to what's up for you this week. And really, I want to say, Libra Sun is one thing, but Libra Rising is this is where it's the most potent. So you're going to Libra Sun, Moon, Libra Ascendant, Rising, Moon, and then Sun. Okay. First card is Athena. The second is Grace and Antoinette. The third is Celeste. And the final card is Maya. Okay, my Libras. So Athena talks about asserting yourself in a loving manner. And I really think that this is about, when I assert myself, it's really being aware of how I'm communicating and how it's going to be received on the other side. Because when we're in a communication, for us to just sometimes say things the way we think them doesn't always serve for the other to get what we want out of it. Because I have Grace and Antoinette here, and this is a card of compassion. It's a card of seeing things from another person's point of view. And I really think that, some people will, in an argument, they'll just be like, well, that's who I am. That's how I talk. This is who I am. And it's mean, or it's blunt, or it's rude. And and it's not really listening to the other side. And I'm not saying, because my Libras are always about diplomacy, but if you are feeling, somehow that you are not being able to assert yourself, um, and you want compassion, I think on some level you're going to have to assert yourself from another point of view, meaning you're going to have to look at things. Celeste talks about a happy move to a new place of employment or a new home. I always see it as the way I think, because you can put me in any house in the world, in any place in the world, and I'm going to do what I believe, take my actions based on what I believe. And right now, I kind of get the feeling that Libras are feeling a little bit like, I feel like Libra actually wants people to have compassion for them, and in some ways, there's that Venus was invisible kind of idea. And, maybe you're just feeling a little, kind of, when I think about it myself, some of the endeavors I've been doing have been put on the back burner. And while I know that people are interested in moving forward at some point, there's been nothing happen, which has made me feel a little invisible. So my thought is that Athena is, when I'm asserting myself, it's not necessarily in my actions, but in the way I'm thinking about things. Okay. Just because there's been no action doesn't mean nothing's happening. It just means that, it's a timing issue, other people, because here I have Maya, my card of schooling and education. For me, energetic education. So I think this week is not about Athena saying to physically move your body towards your goal, but to have compassion for yourself as you step into a knowing and asserting yourself from that point of view, so that others can have their wiggle room. The holiday here and Thanksgiving is coming up. People are shopping. Christmas is already, descending upon us. So I guess I'm trying to say it's not about being patient. It's not about waiting. It's about the energetic and emotional assertion that everything is pretty much fine. And as I just trust that, I'm going to learn more about things than I can see right now. I hope that made sense, Libra. Okay, let's go on to Scorpio. What is up with Scorpio this week? Okay. Our first angel is Aurora. The second is Crystal. The third is Indriel. And the final is Archangel Raphael. It's so interesting when I look at this. The first thing I feel like is that as my Scorpios kind of take charge of their lives, kind of push any naysayers aside or anybody that's giving you any nonsense. And I don't mean this like in a literally you got to get out of my life kind of way, because Scorpio can do that. But, Aurora's saying you're flying high right now. Don't descend, that you will soon set an example for others and inspire them in many ways. Here's Crystal. Have faith and hope. There's more on the horizon that you can't see. Indriel is in the angel's advice. This is about shining your light. That's the light that knows that there's something more on the horizon that you can't see. And then here's Archangel Raphael. And traditionally, he'll talk about a healing. But the more I've done this work, the less I really feel like we're broken, that we need a healing. It's more about remembering our divine purpose here, remembering that the challenges and some of the dynamics that send us to bed with a bucket of ice cream and a box of Kleenex are meant to be in that place, so that we can remember that, not to fall into the imbalance that was there. That's what I think Aurora is saying. As you really allow yourself to go for the things that you want in your relationships, in your workplace, in all the areas. Scorpio is such a passionate sign, so wanting to drink from the deepest rivers of life, and I love that about Scorpio. So as you give life to that, I really think there's a reconciliation that you're like, yeah, it's okay. This disruption, this craziness, whatever's been going on that hasn't been working for you, because, everybody this year has not, nobody's gotten away unscathed. This has just been a year of secrets being revealed, of imbalances being exposed, and people really having to be accountable. So I'm kind of excited, because what it feels like to me for Scorpio is that, as you hold the line of your own balance, whatever people, places, dynamics, or things that have been disrupting that balance, there's there's a dynamic that's going to sort of move that out. And then we have this Venus going direct. And I just feel like Mars going into Pisces is so much softer than where it's been in Aquarius. Aquarius is not really a very emotional sign, very scientific minded, cerebral. So more tendency with the air, Aquarius air, to kind of stoke Mars's frustrations while it was in retrograde. So now in Pisces, I think we're going to swim in kind of, a little water on the fire, not to squelch it, but just kind of calm it down a little. So keep forging ahead, I want to say. And if you've been, again, waiting to hear word on some project or some dynamic and you haven't gotten word, be patient. It's all in the works. I really feel good about this. All right, let's go on to Sagittarius. Oh, Sagittarius, you guys are this is your year. The beautiful big planet of Jupiter is in your sign. And I want to offer you this, Sagittarius. Don't watch your eating, because you could there's a tendency to overindulge a little bit with Jupiter in your, having your home planet in your home sign, and Jupiter being of expansion. But it also offers expansion in so many other ways, expanding what you believe about yourself, expanding your opportunities for abundance in your professional lives. It's kind of fun. Well, it's really fun, but I mean, it's kind of fun. It's really fun. And you have her there for a whole year. Okay. We have Archangel Uriel in the foundational position. I have Aurora in the opportunity of the obstacle. I have Indriel in the angel's advice, and then I have Vanessa. So, okay. So here I'm talking about your home planet moving into your sign. Yay, it's so good. And yet there's all this other stuff going on. And you're like, yeah, what's so good about it? I don't see anything good, Jupiter moved into Sagittarius and the California burned down. Yeah, it kind of did happen like that. Archangel Uriel is about frustration, anger, and unforgiveness. So if you've been feeling frustrated that things aren't moving forward, frustrated that you've been putting forth effort and nothing's happening, again, I want to offer oftentimes, more times than I can count on all of my toes and hands, that pause will serve me. I just don't know what that pause is about. And that pause instills fear. It's not, your job is to go into faith. I'm going to jump right to the final card, because here's Vanessa. Are you going to make your decisions based on faith or fear? Because this is towards your life purpose. So I want to offer this to my Sagittarians. Aurora is in your opportunity, your obstacle, saying you're flying high right now. Don't descend, because you will soon inspire others. This is about you not buying into, I don't see any action, so there's no action, because there can be a lot going on behind the scenes that you're just not aware of. And your job is to hold the line, because Indriel is in the angel's advice. Indriel talks about shining your light. Yes, there are many people that are light workers, but we are light beings by nature. We are not human beings. We are light beings. So as we allow that bigger faith, that bigger knowing that, yes, I want this job, I want this position. And if for some reason there's a disruption, things aren't happening, being Mercury retrograde, looking deeper as to what was my motivation for pursuing that avenue. And did I think it was going to just provide me some sort of security, or was it really providing me with the dynamics that would give me a tail wag in the morning when I wake up and be excited about what I'm going to be doing during the day? Because that's what Vanessa offers you, to step out of the frustration of no action, and knowing that no action could be a ton of action that's actually clearing out what doesn't serve you to bring in what does. For the longest time, I just thought it was, if I put a certain intention out into the world, that I can create anything. And yes, I do believe I can create a lot of stuff, but I also have to work in collaboration with others for some of those creations. I'm not, no one gets to be a lone soldier. So other people have other lives. So as we kind of broaden our view, well, maybe somebody's not calling me back, not because they don't like me anymore, but because, their baby is sick, or their husband called and his tire's flat and needs a pickup. I mean, you just never know, right? So that's really where, again, Sagittarius, opening your mind, thinking a little bit broader, allowing Jupiter to do what it does, so that you can stand in that place of faith. And we will go on to Capricorn. But I guess finally, I want to say before Capricorn is just this, Sag, this has been a year of really just kind of, again, I'm repeating myself, but there's been a lot of review, a lot of the world, the dynamics, asking us to look at old, antiquated corners in our lives, you know, from our political scale to our medical community to our personal, you know, little lives in our homes with our families. So a surrender to that. And as we look at those bigger dynamics, what's the bigger truth underneath? Then we're much more apt to be able to move things faster. Because sometimes when things aren't moving, we're making our decisions based on not what's going to make us ultimately happy, but what's going to pinch off the pain or the fear right now. And that ultimately becomes a do-over. Okay, now I'm going on to Capricorn. Let's see what's up with Capricorn. You must be feeling better now that Saturn's direct. Yes, she's still sort of in her shadow period, but she's moving along now. Well, I guess it's kind of a he. Saturn's kind of a he energy for me. Okay, Capricorn. We have Seraphina in the foundational position. We have Athena in the opportunity or the obstacle. We have Shanti in the angel's advice. And then we have Vanessa. So there is, Seraphina is a happy change to my family. She is holding a baby on the face of the card. Doesn't mean everybody's going to get pregnant, although you never know. Possible if you're in that age range. But I think happiness really comes from our perspective. And I think that there's something to be excited about for you here, Cappy. Because it feels like if things have been a little choppy for you, I feel like for some reason you guys have asserted yourself in your homes or in your situations in a softer way, I guess I want to put it, because I have Athena saying it's safe to you, lovingly assert yourself. Then I have Shanti, the angel of peace. And then I have Vanessa. Vanessa is the angel of making decisions based on faith. But as a whole, when I look at this, I almost feel like, Cappy, this summer, you've kind of learned to communicate from a different place, and it's been able to, my hair is doing something funky. Sorry. You're learning how to communicate from a place that isn't just from your own point of view, but maybe from the point of view of others, or seeing how it's going to land on others. And so it feels like that's what's really the big change to your family. Is it's almost as if, and I say this lovingly, you become a better team player with those around you. But I don't think that you were never a team player. I just think sometimes your leadership skills may have superseded your social skills. I say that lovingly. So now it just feels like, and that's, and when we're in a family and we've been in a family for a long time and we have kids, there's just no filters, So I really feel like, maybe you found a little bit of your filter, and now, things are starting to get back on track. And now it's just a matter of nurturing that dynamic. Okay, let's go on to Aquarius. So Mars is moving out of Aquarius. That should be interesting. Again, for me, when I imagine Mars in Aquarius, I always see Aquarius, the air sign, just fueling the fire sometimes, and then this sort of logical way of seeing things. So it could have felt a little, I don't know, having Mars in Aquarius might feel a little bit hard because there's not an emotional aspect that's really prevalent. And that's not to say Aquarians are not emotional beings. I'm just saying they're just more rational, logical, kind of idea. And then we go into Pisces, which is all about feelings. So it's going to be interesting to consciously walk through the next few months of Mars and Pisces and see how that plays out. All right, let's go and see Aquarius. Our first angel is Chantal, Seraphina. Then we have Ray, and we have Maya. Okay, so I'm not sure if you guys jumped to just your sun signs. I try to put the timestamps up, but I want to say this. Aquarius, Chantal is the angel of romance, the angel of new romance and reignited romance. I have Seraphina, the angel of happy families. I have Ray, which talks about yoga on the face of the card, but for me, it's a connection to spirit. And then I have Maya, talks about schooling and education, again, an energetic education. I feel like you've learned a lot about your relationships over this last summer, and especially during the Venus retrograde. I feel like the Mars being in your sign, which was for a really long time because Mars was retrograde this summer as well. You've been on the eclipse axis for like 2.5 years, 2 years for sure. You've learned a lot about yourself in your romantic sector. and in your romantic life. And I really think that you've grasped those lessons and are ready to implement them in a way that really serves your higher experience in love. I think that's what Serafina is saying. Because when I look at Ray and the angel's advice, it's always sort of about this knowing, taking my power chakra and connecting it to my third eye, which is my connection to spirit, and sending it up and then being lovingly speaking my truth. So I feel really kind of warmed that this week offers sort of, I believe, Aquarians an opportunity to feel the fruits of your labor a little bit, to feel the turning of the tide in your relationships to a softer place. And even if some of you have had relationships that broke up, that aren't, that you've decided to remain broken up, it can also be that there's a softening to that, an amicable way, just sort of seeing a wisdom to it versus a blaming energy. So it feels pretty good. I feel like you've learned a lot about yourself, or will have the opportunity to learn a lot about yourself and how you show up, and you'll be really proud of yourself. Just because it just feels, I don't know, I just feel like I show up as a big girl, but a soft girl at the same time. So it's like I'm holding a healthy boundary, not just for myself, but for the relationship and for the long-term dynamic of the relationship. All right, let's go on to Pisces, our final sign. My little lucky's a Pisces. I say that every week, don't I? Today he wouldn't finish his breakfast, so he didn't get his little dessert. He's a little put out by that idea. He'll live. And he will eat dinner. All right, guys, let's see what's up for Pisces this week. Azure is our first angel. The second is Athena. The third is Uriel. And the final is Archangel Raphael. All right, my Pisces. So Azure talks about your desired outcome happening in the very near future, not trying to force it. Force is a resistant energy. Force, being positive, is a resistant energy. There is a deep knowing. And I think Pisces, you're an incredibly intuitive sign just by nature, regardless of the other aspects in your chart. So trusting that inner knowing. And sometimes it's trusting the inner knowing that says it isn't going to work out. And I don't think that necessarily it's either or, but it's about really getting deep in your inner knowing. Because I have Athena. She says it's safe for you to lovingly assert yourself. This week, I'm not feeling it's about asserting myself in the physical body out towards something. It's about asserting myself inside my mind and my heart together. I have Archangel Uriel in the Angel's Advice, which says to me that you guys may have been feeling frustrated, feeling a little powerless in your relationships, in your dynamics, whatever they may be. Again, Venus retrograde, it affects personal relationships, professional relationships, family relationships. It's not just intimate relationships. Because I have Archangel Raphael in the final position offering a healing. And I'll say this repeatedly, I don't think we're broken. I think we're here to remember a bigger part of ourselves and to use our fear to propel us rather than to paralyze us. So for me this week, Azure is asking you to have that faith, to allow spirit to move things around and to assert yourself past the frustrations. And these may not even be your frustrations. They may be other people's frustrations that are like, they want to talk about what isn't happening or what, the slowness or this or that. And, just allowing yourself a little padding between that vibration, not jumping into it too much, I think will also help, because I feel like there's going to be a reconciliation in your mind that whatever frustrations have served a bigger purpose, a bigger dynamic, and that will become clearer as we move forward through the rest of this year. Okay, so that's it for me this week. Again, my name is Teri Hunter. I'm an angel therapy practitioner, Reiki master, intuitive guide, and empowerment coach. And if you'd like to learn more about me, my services, or to book a private session, please feel free to go to my website at www.terihunter.com. That's TERIHUNTER.com. And I'll see you guys next week. It will be Thanksgiving here, and I decided I will be broadcasting as normal at 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And I will be decorating for Christmas on Thanksgiving. All right, guys, I'll see you next week. Have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.